Morning, guys. Yesterday during Zoom, I asked some of you if you would like to see me read the stories that we will not read together in Zoom. Most of you said yes, so here is me reading the next story that we do not get to read together in Zoom. Today, I am reading Hercules and Atlas. These are Greek gods, so this is a mythological story. It is a myth. When Zeus, the king of the gods, married Hera, the couple received a gift from Mother Earth. She gave them beautiful golden apples. These apples sparkled like the setting sun and brought joy to anyone who ate them. Hera planted them in the home of the Hercules, three nymphs who were daughters of the Titan Atlas. A garden of apples sprang up there. Hera asked the nymphs to protect the enchanted garden. She asked them to care for her fruit, but the nymphs couldn't help themselves from eating the apples. Sweet joy it was to eat them, so Hera brought a fierce dragon, Ladon, into the garden. The dragon would help the nymphs protect the garden from intruders, and it would help protect the apples from the nymphs. Now, the old Titan Atlas once made war against the king of the gods when he lost. When he lost, Zeus banished him from the garden of the Hercules. Then he lifted a dome from the sky and put it on Atlas's shoulders. Now the Titans would stand forever, carrying the weight of the sky in his daughter's garden. Many years later, a king ordered Hercules to bring him apples from the garden. When the king commanded, Hercules obeyed. But there was one small problem. Nobody seemed to know how to find the garden of the Hercules. Hercules, a son of Zeus himself, set out to find it. He scoured the world, searching high and low, but he could not find the garden. Eventually, he decided to ask Atlas's brother, Prometheus. Maybe he would know where it was hidden. Prometheus was easy to track down. He was chained to a mountain. Zeus had bound him there many years ago to punish him for stealing fire from the gods. Hercules went to Prometheus and made him an offer. You've suffered long enough for your crime. I'll break these chains and set you free. But first, promise to tell me where to find the garden of the Hercules. I am bound to get some apples there. Prometheus agreed. Hercules took one of the heavy chains in his hand, his whole body straining. He broke the chains with one tug. In return, Prometheus told him where he could find the garden. It was hidden in the mountains at the western edge of the world. He gave the hero a warning. The dragon that guarded the apples was too powerful to defeat, even for the son of Zeus. Following Prometheus's directions, Hercules found the mountain at the edge of the world. He climbed the rocky mountains until he reached a moss-covered ridge. On the other side, he saw the garden of the Hercules, full of trees. Green and yellow leaves whispered in the breeze. Apples shone like the setting sun. The whole garden glowed with their golden light. Under the trees, Hercules saw three nymphs singing. He could barely hear their voice, sweet as the apples they loved. Curled around them at their feet was the dragon, Ladon. The creature was blue like a deep river. Its long tail encircled the garden. Steam hissed from its nostrils when it breathed. Across the garden stood old Atlas with his back to a rocky peak, holding up the sky. How strong he was. How still he stood under his load. Quietly, Hercules crept down to the spot where Atlas stood. He told Atlas how he was sent by the king to fetch the apples, and the hero made him an offer. You must be tired, old man, from carrying that load. I'll take it from you for a little while and give you some relief, but you must promise to bring me apples from your daughter's garden. Atlas had suffered so long under the heavy sky, he was quick to agree. The mighty Atlas grunted. Gently he raised up the dome of the sky. Hercules eased the burden off the Titan's shoulders. The hero groaned as the heavens passed down on him. And for the first time in centuries, Atlas was free. The Titan heaved a massive sigh that shook the trees. He stretched himself and kneeled to the ground. He laughed so hard he almost cried. Then without a word, he bounded off to fetch the apples. Hercules strained under the weight of the sky. He wondered how long he could hold it. He wondered if Atlas would ever return. For a moment he began to despair. Soon Atlas returned with the apples. There was a crafty look in his eye. He spoke. Too long I've suffered with that burden. I'm happy to be free. You're strong enough to hold it. In exchange, I'll do your duty. I'll bring these apples to your king. Hercules shuddered at these words, but he didn't lose his wits. You're right, old man. You've suffered long enough. But before you go, hold up the sky one last time. I'm not as tough as you. I want to get some rags to cushion my poor shoulders. Atlas shrugged and laid the apples down. Once more he took his place beneath the sky. Now it was Hercules' turn to laugh. I'm sorry, old friend, but I won't trade my fate for yours. He grabbed the golden apples and departed. Hercules couldn't blame Atlas. The hero had shared the Titan's burden, and he knew how Atlas felt. For years he returned to the garden of the Hesperides, where he built two enormous pillars strong enough to support the heavens. Now the pillars did the work old Atlas had done for too long. So Atlas lived in peace in the garden. He guarded the pillars that Hercules built, and he no longer bore the weight of the sky.